Now, it's easy to think about discrimination as just a prejudice one person shows towards another, like a rude comment or an unfair decision. But what many people miss is that the real lasting harm often comes from systemic discrimination. This is not just about individuals, it's about the institutions that shape our lives, like schools, workplaces, healthcare, and the justice system. Of course, interpersonal discrimination is harmful, but systemic discrimination is the larger, invisible force that keeps inequality alive. Underfunded schools in lower-income areas often lack resources, which disproportionately affects minority students, for example. Students from these schools have fewer opportunities, impacting their future prospects and contributing to long-term economic disadvantages, like lower average earnings for Black Caribbean workers. These systemic inequalities are everywhere. Many public spaces are inaccessible for people with disabilities. The justice system shows racial profiling and harsher sentences for minorities, and housing discrimination limits access to stable living conditions. These interconnected barriers create the larger experience we call racism, sexism, ableism, and more. So it's vital to understand that prejudice and systemic discrimination are not the same. Prejudice is about individual attitudes. Systemic discrimination is about power. It's embedded in how our institutions operate and who gets access to resources and opportunities. So a slur against someone from a majority group is fundamentally a different experience from one against a minority group, due to the context of historical and ongoing power imbalances. This is why you might often hear statements such as, "Men can't experience sexism." While this statement isn't entirely true, it's important to understand the principle behind it. Sexism isn't just about personal hostility, it's about power structures that uphold gender inequalities. In many societies, systemic sexism primarily affects women because of history of patriarchy. However, in institutions or systems where men are systemically disadvantaged, such as specific matriarchal societies like the Mozo in China or the Minangkabang in Indonesia, where inheritance and social power are primarily controlled by women, this statement isn't true at all. This doesn't mean that men in Western societies can't face prejudice, it just means the experience is slightly different.